I just wanted to again mention special thanks to United Way Simcoe Muskoka for sponsoring this program. And of course, welcome all of you and the participants. And just to mention, some people still, their hydro is out, so may not be able to join us. But if it comes on, they could join us later. So just, I guess, watch out for any latecomers tonight.
Right, and I know that people have been asking about previous recordings, so we'll be figuring that out shortly. So they will be they'll be available soon, so people can go back. But just so you know, for any newcomers, that every session is self-standing. So our intention is that you don't feel like you're left behind. And we do a bit of a review. Yep, Anita?
Oh, and I wanted to also mention that some people were able to, we did open up a private Facebook group, and some people were able to log on, and others have said that the link said it's not live anymore, not available. So if anybody has tried and couldn't get on, just feel free to let me know, and then I'll resend the link, and hopefully it will work. I am posting things on that page and also taking notes during the session and just sort of doing a summary of the individual sessions. So if someone misses one, they might be able to see it there as well.
Cool. Awesome. And just to introduce myself, my name's Elke Scholz. I'm a registered psychotherapist, and I have a private practice here in Bracebridge. And I've also written 4 books, of course, Anxiety Warrior 1 and 2, which I come by honestly, and then Loving Your Life. And also to welcome Nathan. He is our moderator. And just for anybody that is new, Nathan and Anita will be checking out the questions. So if there's anything that you want to ask, and they'll signal me, and they've got all that figured out so that I'm not so distracted. And if there's anything that doesn't get covered, we'll certainly bring it up in the next session. And like Anita mentioned too, the Facebook is just a great venue to talk about things after amongst yourselves. So, okay, so tonight, and if I am missing anything, Nathan and Anita, they'll wave their hand and let me know. And Anita is, and I guess you're a social worker and acquiring your master's. So she is available through the hospice line if anybody needs to talk further or connect. Okay, so just a small review, and what we're inviting people to do is we're thinking about how we're building ourselves up in resilience, and mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And I've asked you to think about your intention for growth in the next few months, and what your focus, what you would like to focus on for yourself. It's an individual focus. We've also had a task to start gathering pictures and words that you're drawn to with that intention in mind. So we're going to today, I'll just give you a little overview of what we're going to do today. Today we're going to learn how to create affirmations and mantras. And we're going to have a 10-minute guided meditation that will lead right into your own mantra coloring and mandala coloring, for 10 minutes. And I will, at the end of the 10 minutes, ring teacher bells. Hopefully that's not too loud. And it's just a signal to wind up. And of course, you'll probably want to do it longer, and that's okay. This is more an educational piece. And yeah, so what I'd like you to do is right now, just take a few moments to set up your space. And what I mean by that is have your mandala ready. and anything that you're going to color it with. So if it's pencil, crayons, it doesn't matter, markers, whatever is your fancy, whatever you want to do, that's up to you. And there were various mandalas that were sent to you. And again, feel free to copy those. They're copyright free. I had, we've designed them so they can be photocopied. And you'll see there's a copyright free at the bottom. Also have your journal and or paper ready, and a pen and a pencil, or either or, it doesn't matter. So just take a few moments to do that and sort of have that ready. And I have mine set up already. And then what I'd like to do is explain how to write an affirmation or a mantra. And it is really important. And what we're going to do is spend a little bit of time with that. And you're welcome, if you're not sure about it, to put it on the chat. And of course, it'll be private, and we can maybe tweak it, because words are so important and words do have energy. And I'm going to give you some illustrations about that. And like I said, then we'll have the guided meditation. And so we're focusing on that tonight, primarily at the beginning, because I don't want to rush this. We may have time at the end, because I know we haven't talked about all the layers of stress and anxiety, and that's okay. We'll get there. I just wanted to make sure we had time for this, and also had time for feedback, for questions, because sometimes language, if you're not thinking about it, or now I'm asking you to think about it, could be quite new. And why do affirmations work? Why do mantras work? Well, I'm just going to show you a picture here. I've actually found it as I was, I think you can see it. Whoops, there we go. Our subconscious mind, and here's our conscious mind. So the conscious mind is a sixth of our mind, and the subconscious is 5/6, if you can imagine that. And the subconscious, it's the one that does all the functions. So it collects data, it holds your memories. It's the one that digests supper if you've had supper already. It's the one that helps you sleep, beats your heart. All those things is the subconscious. The conscious mind, and this may seem a bit humorous, is only 1/6 of what we use. And that's where we mostly live, is in this conscious place. However, the cool part about this is, and this is what we're doing this workshop, is we're making changes, and our conscious mind can actually decide to change the subconscious. And the interesting part of this is your conscious, you can decide that. Your subconscious accepts it. Your subconscious, it doesn't go, no, I'm not going to do that. Or it doesn't say yes or no or right or wrong. It will go along, and it is practice. So that's why this works. And it's interesting. We're going to talk about power of the mind in one of the later workshops, so we'll go into this a little bit more. However, I always like fun facts, and one of the things we've talked about is that our mind, we have 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day. So we can choose what those thoughts are. And most of those thoughts are repetitive. And again, we can choose what those thoughts are. So the interesting part about the conscious mind, it's much slower than the subconscious mind. And the conscious mind, which is the one, like I said, we function with all the time, can do about 1 to 3 tasks at the same time, or thinking, maybe pouring a cup of tea, walking. Where our subconscious mind has the ability to manage thousands of tasks at the same time, which is pretty incredible. The other really interesting thing is our conscious mind, the impulses run, well, it may sound fast, 120 to 140 miles per hour. However, our subconscious mind goes 100,000 miles per hour. So big difference. And yeah, so it's just a crazy amount of difference. So with practice, we can do this. So creating affirmations, and The word affirmation actually came from the Latin word affirme, and I think you got this handout, I hope. And also you got some of my favorite affirmations, which you can change as you like. And again, what the word means is to make steady, to make strong, and that's exactly what we're doing. And our brain does relate to what is familiar. And again, the subconscious doesn't decide or has an opinion. It doesn't have an opinion. It will just go along with what you think. And some of these things today, if it feels awkward or strange, sometimes it may feel fake or may feel like you're lying. Wayne Dyer, he's not with us anymore, but some of you may be familiar with his work. He coined the phrase, fake it till you make it. And what that means is you can keep practicing these affirmations and eventually your subconscious mind and conscious mind believe them. And I'll explain more as we go along with that. And an example is they did a study, and I don't know when, but probably about 30 to 40 years ago now, about creative people. And the study was to discover, was it about class, was it about finance, was it about race, was it about gender, all kinds of aspects of people. And they couldn't figure out what made people creative and not creative. And in the end, what was discovered was the creative people believed they were creative. And that was it. That was the only telling point is, so when you believe you're creative, you are. And the thing is, we are all creative anyways, and we're born creative. So if we believe it, then we are creative. And this goes along to so often, and when we start becoming aware of our language, and maybe after today you'll start thinking about some of the words that you use, is just be careful. I've had good friends that have corrected me over time of language and intention, and words they're kind of the predecessor of what we want to happen, and words have energy. Words do have power, and this is something I haven't made up. It's very old. Many Buddhist practice talk about the power of the words, and that thought does become action. Okay, so I'd like to give you an example. If you have your sheet available, the one with the daily affirmations, I want to give you an example of, and hopefully you have a little bit of time to think about this, is what do you want for your affirmation? What do you want for your mantra? And the reason we're doing this is we're going to be coloring the mandalas and doing a meditation, and the whole idea is to put that intention into the coloring of it. And it is just a different type of meditation, and hopefully you'll enjoy it, and you can use it other ways. One of the things too that I wanted to mention is there are daily sites on your cell phone or a website that you can go for affirmations. I know that I've had people do that, clients do that, and if they really liked one, they kept it. And the cool part about it is as you practice this, is that you start creating them yourself, and it does help your day. And I know when I started using these myself, I used to think that I was a positive thinker, and then started realizing, oh yeah, there were times that maybe my thoughts weren't in the direction that I wanted to have them go. So these mantras are kind of a nice way to be, let's say, default thinking. And that's what I started noticing. I'd start going for walks, and I started to think about the mantras, and especially if I have a mantra for the day, and I use them in my journal as well. So that'll come up again. Okay, so I want to give you an example. Health. And I know that's been on people's minds, especially this year. And I hear this a lot. I don't want to get sick. I'm afraid of getting sick. Well, what your subconscious hears is get sick, getting sick. Do you see what happens here? So the words, they get condensed. So your intention, so think about this. Your intention is health. So what I want to say then is, I am super healthy. My body is strong. My body is healthy. My immune system rocks. Whatever works for you, use your words. And so then your subconscious is hearing, I am super healthy. I am strong. Body is strong. Okay, see the difference. Okay, so we may think that we're being positive. A good clue is try not to use words like not or don't or won't, anything like that. One, actually, I don't know if Nathan and we talked about this one, was, and some of them are kind of funny, unlimited potential. So is unlimited, what does the brain hear? But anyways, you can have some fun with this. So I want to open it up. Does anyone have one they are not sure about or that they'd like to share? And you won't be centered out. It'll just go on the chat. So I just want to be open and give us some time for it because it is important. Any coming up?
I'm not seeing any immediate volunteers at the moment.
Okay. I just want to make sure, I don't even know how we can check that everyone has one that they want to use. And you can certainly use one from the handout for sure. I'll just give you another example. And this one isn't my example. Somebody's put one up. Yep, go ahead.
We have two now, so
okay.
Go ahead with the first.
Hello?
Yep.
I think one of the things I get caught up on is, being in the moment where I'm being honest with what's going on, with, an ailment, that's happening within my body. And, I know words are really important, how mind takes from it. So for me, it would be the balance of.
I'm not hearing very well. Nathan, can you maybe say it again for me?
So wanting to be authentic with where I'm at. So, maybe saying, whether there's a health issue in my body, and just wording, would you word it in such a way that, I honor that this, whatever it is inside of my body, is happening. And then would you say, but the truth is that I am, that I am a healthy being? Because I know how they say fake it till you make it. So I guess sometimes I have this play on words and I want to be authentic with what's happening. And yet I know not to get stuck in the story of what is happening with it. So
yeah.
I'm having a hard time with the fake it to make it kind of.
Right. Well, one of the things that is important, and this is great, is to acknowledge where you're at. So you might wake up tired, or I don't know what the ailment is. However, the affirmation can be, I am healing. I honor my body for healing, which our bodies are programmed right from in utero to heal and to live. And our brain is programmed to do that. So we can tap into that language and still be authentic. And it's about where we put our focus. So we want to put our focus on the healing. We want to put our focus on the strength. And even healing is an action word. So
Yes.
we would want to say, I am healed. I am, my body knows how to heal, and make it very concrete. So I hope that's helpful. And I know we've got a few more hands there. I see the numbers going up, but sure.
So would you say at this time, I am healed, and at this time it's okay. I think I understand. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Well, play with it. Yep, Anita.
Well, actually, I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes it's about putting the focus to where you want things to be instead of focusing on, where you're at. So, yes, without a specific element. Maybe for me, I think of a time when I was running cable in a hospital, and I was running down the hallways, and, it's a weird environment, I guess, for me to be having a big smile on my face, and the doctor recognized that, and he thought to mention it, and I said, I'm kind of always smiling, even when I'm not so happy, and he took the moment to explain to me that it's important because sometimes just the act of actually physically smiling will release the chemicals in your brain that signal this happiness, and you can roll that on. So, maybe there's a simile to, if you're sick with something, thinking about where you want your health to be can lead you down that path.
Yeah, the subconscious does live in all our cells, our body cells, and there's so much research, but I don't want to get too much into it, but it could be something we could post on the Facebook page of the research that's going on now with the changes that our mind can make. Anita, I saw your hand up. Did you? You're on mute. You were signaling me.
Sorry, I was just trying to unmute.
Okay.
I was just going to say, another thing that you might try is looking at what it's trying to teach you. What what the ailment in your body perhaps is drawing your attention to, and sort of use that as a way of turning it into a affirmation. Embracing what it's teaching you, and sort of working with that. So it's because I hear you sort of struggling a little bit with, well, there is something that you're dealing with, and not wanting to deny that, but at the same time keep it in an affirmative. So that might be a way of exploring a way of doing that. I just thought it.
Are there any other examples people want to provide?
We do have another attendee with a hand up, so we'll give them a chance to talk as well.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep, now we can.
Okay. Is subconscious mind different in personality from the conscious mind?
Can you repeat it, Nathan? Because I'm not hearing.
I'm having a little trouble hearing as well. Maybe you're coming through okay. Could you speak up a bit?
Oh, does the subconscious mind have a different personality than the conscious mind?
You mean have a different personality? They're both part of us. I don't think so.
Okay.
The subconscious mind, like we can decide, like our conscious mind, like you today now joined the Zoom, you've decided to take the workshop. Your subconscious mind has no judgment on it. Where, our thoughts, our cognitive thoughts might, however, not the subconscious. The subconscious is like a computer running in the background. Only it's 5/6 of our mind. So that's the interesting part. And we can actually sync the two together. And what happens is when we're using these affirmations and these mantras, the brain, which is the subconscious mind, it's almost like a little bit of a beacon. So if it's, let's say, you're wanting more wealth in your life. And again, we can talk about that. We need to be very specific, because more wealth, what does that mean? It's relative, right? But maybe you want $10,000. The universe, or I should say the subconscious mind, doesn't have a judgment of the number. However, what happens is that thought becomes familiar, and like a beacon, it begins to look at opportunities. And we're going to talk a little bit about that next week when we journal, because when we keep working this way, the world is the same. All these opportunities are out there. It helps our subconscious start to recognize them. So it's part of the same iceberg. Here, it's the same. Just a different part. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, does so the conscious mind rules over the subconscious mind? It's the boss.
Well, it doesn't really rule. Here's the thing. The subconscious mind collects data. It collects memories. And I know we didn't get to that part in the stress and anxiety. However, the subconscious mind, if it's set up and it has a lot of memories or triggers, then it's going to affect us for sure. And those are things we can heal and change. I guess what I'm saying is the subconscious doesn't have an opinion. Maybe that helps.
Yeah, that helps.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, and I think if we still have a moment, maybe to take a second just to clarify something.
Yep. We've got about, I think what we'll do is we'll take a couple more minutes, and then the next section will take 20 minutes in total. So, sure.
I am joy. Even though it may perceive that there is anger, like dealing with stuff with PTSD and stuff, that it is a perspective. So it seems for me that there's an acceptance part. So, I am perfect. I am perfectly complete and whole. Yet, my perspective, I'm going through anger, and it's okay. And I will find the joy in my anger. Because lately it's been coming up to me that I can find joy in my crying. I can find joy in my anger. I can find joy in COVID. I can find joy in whatever. And that's where I think the consciousness plays a huge factor. Sometimes it's working with, I think, the unconscious or the subconscious, so things that have been stored, and you are asking, I ask it, what is it you're trying to tell me? Where there are some aftermath. So for me, it's connecting to really bring the joy back to where when I'm peeling layers of the onion, that it's okay. So when I'm doing more deep work, it can be different. It can be difficult. That's what I'm wanting to express, so that,
okay.
So that it doesn't seem fake.
Sure. And this is interesting, and that's really great feedback, is what's so important. If you want to do some research, research Florence Shinn, spelled Schinn, And she actually, her circa is, I think, 1925, 1930, I think. She does have books online, copyright free. People used to go to her, and she would help them write affirmations and mantras. She actually did a lot of writing for Winston Churchill. So she's maybe not as famous as him, though she's done a lot of really great work. And one of the things that she said is, make it your own. Make it your own words. And also, the other thing that happens is a affirmation today, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, maybe by the end of this session, you will have changed it. And that's okay. They're not stagnant. They move. So it sounds like that works. So great feedback. And if that's okay, then we'll start with the meditation. Is that all right? Is there anything else that we're not missing? I'm looking to Nathan and Anita.
I mean, there's a couple of people that commented some of their specifics in the comments. But yeah, I think we've touched a lot. Why don't we move on to the meditation?
Okay, and if people aren't certain, we've got a little bit of time at the end. And by all means, if you want to use any of the ones and rewrite them, the ones that we sent just as examples, go for it. Okay, so find a comfortable position. And if you want to have eyes closed, you can, or half eyes, and just feel supported. I have to just change the volume here. Okay, so just take a moment to feel supported by the chair. Take a moment to feel maybe your feet are on the floor. Just taking a moment to notice that. Taking a moment, noticing your breath. Noticing the inhale. Noticing how far you take your breath. Well, how far down does it go? Does it go to your throat? Go to your lungs? Does it go to your belly? And then as you're breathing out, just notice. So at this point, we're not particularly changing our breath. We're just noticing it. And in your mind's eye, what I'd like you to notice that the soles of your feet, imagine them growing roots. Imagine them growing roots, maybe through your socks and shoes or slippers. Imagine them growing roots through the floor. Imagine them growing roots into the dirt and the earth. So each time you breathe in, breathe your breath all the way down, 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 through the soles of your feet, down into the earth. So your breath is very deep as it's exploring the earth. And as you breathe in, the roots are growing. And now imagine that these roots are being nourished. So as you breathe in, the breathing changes. So the breathing comes in, and the nurtured bring of the earth, the nutrients, as you breathe in now, are coming up through these roots, up through the soles of your feet, all the way up your body, feeding your body, supporting your body. You're just taking a moment to notice that as you breathe. And your back becomes this trunk, is being nurtured and supported. And imagine now as you breathe in that your arms become branches that reach the sky in your particular tree. So each breath fills your branches, reaching up, and imagine the sky that you want. Reaching up to the sky, feeling the wind, feeling the sun, maybe the snow or the rain. So breathing in and then up. And then taking a pause. And again, the breath. Now, bring the breath in through your branches, feeling nurtured by the sunlight in the sky, feeling nurtured by the rain and the moisture. Just noticing that as you breathe in, all the way into your trunk. So the breathing has become circular in a way. So as you're breathing, noticing, you may want to breathe into your roots. And your roots are exploring other roots. And all roots are connected. And breathing in the connection, breathing in the minerals and the moisture, all the nutrients from the earth, breathing that into your body. And again, breathing up through your branches, reaching for the sky. And your branches are open to receiving energy and all the other nutrients of the sun. Maybe the birds or animals living in your tree. And just taking a moment to be with your tree and the type of tree that you are, giving thanks for this time, and knowing that you can come back to this time, you can come back to this tree, the image of your tree, as you're breathing. Being thankful for the nurturing, feeling thankful for the support. And knowing you can come back to this place anytime. And so slowly, ever so slowly, in the next minute, thinking about the affirmation that's right for you. And maybe it's become a mantra. A mantra is just something we keep repeating. So whatever feels right for you is thinking about that, and then letting your mind just relax into the coloring of your mandala. And like I mentioned, when we're just going to give it 10 minutes, I'll ring the tincture bells. Take your time. What I realized when I was doing this, that I forgot to explain why this is important. Why coloring? And somebody mentioned today and said, oh, there's a lot of arts-based. And yes, it is creative arts. What happens is, and I don't know if this happened to you, but when we're involved in the arts, especially some of this geometry and we're coloring, is our mind goes somewhere else. And in expressive arts, we call it liminal space. And that place is meditative and a non-thinking place. And it's a very powerful place. And it's just a way to meditate. And, hopefully you enjoyed it and may want to do more. But that's why we did it. And I just want to open it up to any questions or experiences. We have about 6 minutes, and I know I had other strategies in mind. However, like I said, I didn't want to rush tonight, so we can do the strategies next week.
I'm just curious how participants are experiencing watching Elke actually do the activities, visually, because I unfortunately didn't have my mandala in front of me, so couldn't actually participate, but just watching Elke kind of opened up that space in me, because I also do use the arts and draw and paint, and so, but I haven't been doing a lot of it lately. So just watching the action of someone else doing it, maybe my brain is sort of like getting excited. So I'm just curious for others what the experience is for you, and also maybe for participants who haven't dabbled so much in the arts. Do you find it helpful to see someone actually doing it? Like last week, I noticed also with the collaging, I thought it was, perhaps a great introduction for people who've never done that sort of a thing, to actually see someone do it and sort of take the mystery out of it. So I'm just curious how participants are experiencing the actual visual of the activities. I mean, you're also doing it perhaps, but maybe like me, there's a few who haven't. So I'm just, if anyone wants to comment on that.
Awesome. And I have an attendee looking to join in, so we'll give them a chance. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I recognize that face.
Hello there.
Hi.
Hi. So I wasn't looking at Elke. I was so in the experience, so I can't answer to that question of yours, Anita. But I just had a short question, Elke.
Can you speak up though? Yeah, I need you to. Yeah.
What was the kind of what was the term you used, that our mind goes to something place when we are engrossed in art?
It's the liminal, you mean the term?
Yes.
Yeah, it's liminal space.
Okay.
Don't ask me to spell it right now. And it is a place, to me, when we expressed it in expressive arts, it's a place of not thinking. And to me, it's a place of meditation. And I personally find that with collage, I go somewhere else. I'm not thinking about any problem. I'm not thinking about a solution. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just involved and very present. And I have the same feeling with the mandalas. And what happens, actually, if you want the science to it, it actually connects new neural pathways in our brain, and our brain has a fresh way of thinking. So that's some of the reason and the science, and I think it's important So
I
great.
love it. Thank you.
Okay, I don't see anybody else at the moment. If you want to take a second, if anybody wants to join in, go ahead and put up your hand. Give me a chance. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I actually shared that theory today. I kind of looked ahead on the topics, and it was kind of interesting. And I think you spoke about it, Elka. You were like, the frontal lobe or the executive functioning, whether it's for ADHD, PTSD, but when you're actually creating and you're writing, or you're creating and coloring, it actually does create new neural pathways. And I actually exchanged that within a group today with women, with my ADHD group, and some women also have had severe traumas, and we were actually doing Mandalas. And you know what? I started sweeping because I didn't want to sit down, and then I'm like, I got things to do. And I'm like, just sit down. And then, you promised you would be active. So I sat down, and it brought joy, and that it was amazing. I mean, I'm great at hyper-focusing, but regardless of that, I wasn't hyper-focusing. Now my mind went into other thoughts, like affirmation-wise. But I just, because part of the thing was figuring out an affirmation, but I actually let that just go. And I was just really so cool with the fact that this brings structure, and focus to that part of the brain, which I think more people need to know, because so many people were grateful to actually hear that, and it gave, in a way, it gave permission, like, oh yeah, what I'm doing is like super cool, but there's also, there's actually the healing aspect, so it brings you to that healing aspect, so I thought that was pretty cool. Super cool.
And our intention with these workshops, and I just want to remind everybody, is to think about what does your daily practice look like? And what are your intentions? What are our goals? It's so important. And it is really important to write it down. There is, again, something that goes with the neural pathways of setting a goal. And so I think what I'll do is I'll leave you with that. We're at our time. And just remember to gather pictures. Oh, Nathan's got something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to share a thought. I think it's
sure
relevant. So my 92-year-old grandmother spends about 90 minutes a day doing very similar coloring activities. Now, it may not be related, but she's super cognitive, so it's helpful.
Absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely. So remember to gather pictures and words, anything that you're drawn to. And again, and as our previous participant mentioned, is we don't always have to think about the intention. Once it's written down, your subconscious will take over, and just pull on things, gather things that you're drawn to, and it'll work out. And Anita, yep.
I just wanted to thank you, Elke and Nathan. Elke for facilitating and Nathan for moderating, and for all your insight, and for the participants for joining.
Yeah, Anita, just as a housekeeping, should I mention what we need for next week, or our participants? I think you email them, right?
I do, and
okay.
I apologize because I emailed everything, but I didn't actually email the affirmations. I missed that one, but I didn't. Yes, I do email all the handouts every week, and you could mention it now too, just in case. but I will definitely have those sent out.
Yeah, so next week we're going to work on different kinds of journaling. And so I'm just going to share some different ones and different exercises. And somebody mentioned to me today, they said they're not a journaler. So we're not asking you to begin whatever kind of journaling you think we're going to do, but we're going to offer some different ones. So I think I asked people to at least bring 2 journals, one that you feel you can work through and work through exercises, another one for intentions and gratitude. And if that's not clear, don't worry about it. There's no right or wrong in anything that we're doing here. It's all a process. So thank you and have a great week. And certainly if you've got any questions, let Anita know. You've got her email, and she'll get back to us. And I do have actually one question, and Anita, you reminded me, I'm sorry, is we've picked 10 minutes just as a chunk of time to try the activity. And my sense is that it's okay. So we're going to keep going with that unless we get feedback from people. So again, it's just to sample it and try it. So anyways, bye. Yes, thank you, everybody. Where's the little heart? There you go. All right. Good night. Take care.